If you want to score highly in the IELTS General training test, it's important to know as much advanced vocabulary as possible. In this video, you'll learn 40 advanced words and phrases to help you in all areas of the IELTS General, including writing letters and essential words for the reading test. By the way, if you are going to take your IELTS General test soon, check out my IELTS General materials. There I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high-scoring answers. And of course, we do many practice tests together, so you will feel confident for your test. You can find the link in the description box. Now, grab a paper and pen. For each word you know, you get 1 point. Comment below how many words you know. For example, 15, 30, or 40. Let's begin. We'll organize these essential vocabulary words by the different sections of the IELTS General training test, starting with writing task 1 and task 2, then moving to reading, speaking, and listening. When it comes to IELTS writing task 1, where you need to write letters, the verb convey is extremely useful. This word means to communicate or express ideas, feelings, or information. For example, in a formal letter, you might write, "I am writing to convey my dissatisfaction with the accommodation provided during my recent stay at your hotel." Notice how using convey instead of simpler alternatives like tell or show immediately elevates your writing and demonstrates sophisticated vocabulary. The adjective pertinent means relevant or applicable to a particular matter. This is especially useful in writing task 1 when responding to specific points in a letter. For instance, I have attached all pertinent documentation, including receipts and booking confirmations, to support my complaint. Using pertinent instead of simpler words like relevant shows range and precision in your vocabulary. The adjective comprehensive means complete or including all or nearly all elements of something. This word is particularly useful for writing task 1 letters. In a formal request letter, you might say, "I would appreciate a comprehensive explanation of your refund policy before I make a decision." This word helps you sound more formal and precise in your writing. Word number 4 is the noun discrepancy, which refers to a lack of compatibility or similarity between two or more facts. This is particularly useful in writing task 1 complaint letters. For example, I noticed a discrepancy between the advertised facilities and what was actually available at the resort. Using this word shows examiners you can precisely identify and describe problems, which is essential in many letter types. The adverb subsequently, meaning afterward or following as a result, is an excellent linking word for writing task 1. For instance, I made the initial payment on March 15th. Subsequently, I received an email confirmation of my booking. Using transition words like this helps improve the cohesion and coherence of your writing, which directly impacts your IELTS score. Now, let's look at some essential vocabulary specifically for IELTS writing task 2. The adjective substantial is perfect for writing task 2 essays. It means considerable in amount, value, or importance. For instance, there has been a substantial increase in online learning opportunities over the past decade, which has revolutionized access to education. This word is more precise and academic than alternatives like big or large, helping you achieve that Band 7+ score. Word number 7 is the verb mitigate. This means to make something less severe, serious, or painful. It's particularly useful in task 2 essays when discussing solutions to problems. For example, governments should implement policies to mitigate the negative effects of climate change on coastal communities. If you use mitigate, you show the examiner you can use precise vocabulary for discussing complex issues, which is essential for achieving a high band score. The word advocate can be used as both a verb and a noun. As a verb, it means to publicly recommend or support something. As a noun, it refers to a person who publicly supports a particular cause. In a Task 2 essay, you could write, "Many health experts advocate regular physical activity as a way to reduce stress and improve mental well-being." This word helps you express opinions and arguments clearly and precisely in your essays. The noun scrutiny is extremely useful in formal essay writing. It refers to critical observation or examination. For example, in a Task 2 essay discussing transparency in government, public policies should be open to scrutiny to ensure they truly serve the needs of citizens. This word demonstrates sophisticated vocabulary usage, which examiners look for when awarding higher band scores. The word imperative can be used as both an adjective and a noun. As an adjective, it means extremely important or urgent. As a noun, it refers to an essential or urgent thing. In a Task 2 essay, you could write, "It is imperative that governments invest in renewable energy sources to reduce carbon emissions." Using imperative helps you emphasize the importance of certain points in your writing, which can make your arguments more persuasive. By the way, if you want more vocabulary videos for the IELTS General, click the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want something else, tell me your video wish in the comments, so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Now, let's have a look at 30 more words that help you score high in the IELTS General test. Now, let's look at some essential vocabulary for the IELTS General Training Reading section, beginning with Section 1, which focuses on everyday text like advertisements, notices, and timetables. The adjective eligible is frequently found in Section 1 of the reading test. It means qualified or entitled to do something. For example, in a community notice, you might see a sentence like this: "Residents who have lived in the building for more than 6 months are eligible for discounted parking permits." Understanding this word helps you correctly identify who can participate in or benefit from something when reading advertisements or public notices. Word number 12 is the adjective complementary, which has two meanings commonly seen in Section 1 text. It can mean free of charge or expressing praise. For instance, in a hotel advertisement, you might see this sentence: "All guests receive complimentary breakfast and Wi-Fi access during their stay at Riverside Hotel." When reading advertisements or promotional materials, recognizing this word helps you identify what services or items are provided at no extra cost. The adjective valid means legally or officially acceptable. This word appears frequently in Section 1 texts about tickets, offers, or documents. For example, on a timetable notice, tickets are valid for travel on any bus service within the city limits for up to 60 minutes after purchase. Understanding this word helps you identify the conditions under which something can be used or is acceptable. Word number 14 is the verb commence, which means to begin or start. This formal alternative to start frequently appears in public notices and schedules. For instance, in an event listing, the Spring Arts Festival will commence on May 15th with an outdoor concert in Central Park. This word is important for identifying when events or services begin when reading timetables or event notices. The adjective provisional means arranged or existing for the present, possibly to be changed later. This appears in many official notices in Section 1. For example, in a class schedule, this timetable is provisional and subject to change depending on tutor availability. Understanding this word helps you recognize when arrangements are temporary rather than final. Word number 16 is the adjective mandatory, meaning required by law or rules. This word appears frequently in public notices and instructions. For instance, in a residential notice, attendance at the annual fire safety briefing is mandatory for all building residents. This word is essential for identifying requirements rather than optional activities or recommendations in various notices. The adjective restricted means limited or confined in some way. This word commonly appears in Section 1 reading texts. For example, in a parking notice, parking in Zone B is restricted to permit holders between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., Monday to Friday. Understanding restrictions is crucial when reading public notices to determine what is and isn't allowed. Word number 18 is the noun concession, which in Section 1 text typically means a special price or rate offered to a particular group of people. For instance, in a theater advertisement, concessions are available for students, seniors, and groups of 10 or more people. This word helps you identify discount opportunities when reading advertisements or ticket information. The verb postponed, often used as an adjective, means something that has been moved to a later time than originally planned. This frequently appears in notices and updates. For example, in a community update, due to expected heavy rainfall, the neighborhood garden opening has been postponed until Sunday, June 12th. Understanding this word helps you identify schedule changes when reading notices or timetables. Word number 20 is the adjective consecutive, meaning following one after another without interruption. This appears in various Section 1 texts involving scheduling. For instance, in a gym membership notice, members must book no more than 2 consecutive time slots per day to ensure fair access for all. This word is important for understanding rules and arrangements involving sequences or time periods. Next, let's explore vocabulary that's particularly useful for the IELTS General Training Speaking section. The verb elaborate means to develop or present something in further detail. This is extremely useful in the speaking test when you need to extend your answers. For example, when the examiner asks about your hometown, I'd be happy to elaborate on what makes my city unique. Beyond its historical buildings, it has a vibrant cultural scene that attracts visitors year-round. Using this verb shows your willingness to provide detailed responses, which is essential for a high speaking score. Word number 22 is the noun perspective, referring to a particular attitude or way of regarding something. This is valuable when expressing opinions in part 3 of the speaking test. For instance, from my perspective, urban green spaces are essential for maintaining residents' well-being and creating sustainable cities. Using this word helps you frame your opinions in a sophisticated way. The adverb tremendously means to a great extent or extremely. This is a useful intensifier for the speaking section. For example, living abroad has tremendously improved my understanding of different cultures and communication styles. Using varied intensifiers instead of always saying very or really demonstrates range in your vocabulary. Word number 24 is the adjective prevalent, meaning widespread in a particular area or at a particular time. This is useful when discussing trends or common phenomena. For instance, remote work has become increasingly prevalent in my industry since the global pandemic. Using precise adjectives like this shows sophistication in your vocabulary. The adjective crucial means decisive or critical, especially in the success or failure of something. This is perfect for emphasizing important points in your speaking answers. For example, effective time management is crucial when preparing for English tests. This word helps you emphasize key points in your responses in a more sophisticated way than simply saying important. Word number 26 is the conjunction albeit, which means although or even though. This is excellent for showing nuance in your speaking responses. For instance, I enjoy my job, albeit it can be stressful during busy periods. Using conjunctions like this demonstrates sophisticated grammar and helps you create complex sentences. The verb facilitate means to make an action or process easy or easier. This is useful when discussing how things work or how problems might be solved. For example, technology can facilitate better communication between people from different countries. Using precise verbs like this instead of more general ones shows lexical resource. Word number 28 is the adverb consequently, meaning as a result. This is an excellent linking word for the speaking test. For instance, the bus was delayed. Consequently, I arrived late for the interview. Using a variety of linking words helps improve the coherence of your speaking and demonstrates good control of discourse management. The adverb invariably means always or without exception. This is useful when talking about regular habits or consistent patterns. For example, I invariably check my emails first thing in the morning before starting work. Using precise adverbs of frequency shows sophistication in your vocabulary. The phrase in essence means fundamentally, or in the most important respects. This is useful for summarizing or clarifying points in the speaking test. For instance, in essence, what I'm saying is that education should focus more on practical skills as well as theoretical knowledge. Using phrases like this helps you summarize your thoughts clearly and concisely. Finally, let's look at some vocabulary that's particularly useful for the IELTS General Training Listening section. The verb distinguish means to recognize or treat someone or something as different. This concept is important in the listening section. For example, in a listening passage about a museum tour, you may hear this. You need to distinguish between the permanent exhibitions on the ground floor and the temporary displays located on the second floor. Understanding how to distinguish between different options helps you select the correct answer when multiple choices sound similar. Word number 32 is the verb anticipate, meaning to expect or predict. This appears in many listening passages about planning or scheduling. For instance, in a conversation about travel arrangements, the speaker might say, "We anticipate heavy traffic on Monday morning, so I recommend leaving at least an hour earlier than usual." Recognizing this word helps you understand what speakers expect to happen in the future. The verb deduce means to arrive at a fact or a conclusion by reasoning. This concept appears in the listening test when information must be inferred. For example, in a workplace conversation. From the monthly sales figures, we can deduce that the new marketing strategy has been quite effective. Understanding this word helps you follow a speaker's logical reasoning process. Word number 34 is the noun vicinity, meaning the area around or near a particular place. This appears in directions and location descriptions in listening tests. For instance, in a conversation about apartment hunting, the speaker might say, "There are several good restaurants in the vicinity of the new apartment complex, all within walking distance." This word helps you understand spatial relationships when listening to descriptions of locations. The adverb subsequently means afterward or following as a result. This frequently appears in sequential explanations in the listening test. For example, the treaty was signed in 1919 and subsequently ratified by all participating nations the following year. Understanding this word helps you follow chronological sequences in listening passages. Word number 36 is the verb allocate, meaning to distribute or assign for a particular purpose. This commonly appears in listening passages about resources or scheduling. For instance, we need to allocate more time for customer feedback in future conferences based on this year's survey results. The verb allocate is important for understanding how resources, time, or responsibilities are distributed. The noun confirmation refers to the action of confirming something or the state of being confirmed. This word frequently appears in practical conversations in the listening test. For example, in a travel booking dialogue, one of the speakers might say, "You will receive an email confirmation of your reservation within the next 24 hours. Recognizing this word helps you understand verification processes described in conversations. Word number 38 is the adjective intermittent, meaning occurring at irregular intervals, not continuous or steady. This appears in descriptive listening passages. For instance, travelers should expect intermittent rain showers throughout the afternoon, with periods of sunshine in between. This adjective helps you understand patterns or frequencies described in listening passages. The noun prerequisite refers to something required as a prior condition. This word appears in educational or procedural listening passages. For example, completion of the introductory module is a prerequisite for enrolling in any of the advanced workshops. Understanding this word helps you identify necessary conditions or requirements mentioned by speakers. Our final word is the noun correspondence, which typically refers to communication by exchanging letters or emails. This appears in both reading and listening passages. For instance, in a business conversation, you may hear this sentence: "All correspondence regarding the project should be directed to the team leader rather than individual members." Recognizing this word helps you understand communications processes described in listening passages. And we're done. That's 40 advanced words and phrases you need to know to score high in the IELTS General Training Test. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS General Training score too. See you in the next video.